Arkane might be best known as the studio behind the endlessly creative Dishonored series, but for me it will always be the developer that gave me countless opportunities to kick goblins to death. Dark Messiah of Might and Magic's kick is a real lifesaver. This 2006 action RPG makes confronting enemies pretty dangerous unless you're using sly tricks. Maybe you'll keep yourself safe with magic, freezing foes while healing yourself, or pick your enemies off from afar with your handy bow. If that sounds dull, however, you can always charge into a melee brawl, and that's when you'll want to bring out the boot. Even Dark Messiah's pale, scrawny necromancers can take a major beating. So if you're wailing on them with a sword, you'll be giving your arm a serious workout. Not only are your foes a hardy bunch, they've also got a solid block and a penchant for ducking and weaving. Lose your rhythm or get surrounded, and even the weakest of your enemies will pose a significant challenge. Thankfully, you can get out of trouble with your prodigious foot. A swift kick can solve almost any problem. Knocking an enemy back, for instance, will give you some breathing room and a moment to launch a counterattack, but you can also get a bit more tactical and lethal. See a guard looking over the edge of a tower? Kick that idiot over. Spike traps are even more satisfying and surprisingly common. Health and safety standards were very low in 2006. If you want to prolong their death, you might want to boot them into a fire and watch them burn to a crisp. Everyone is so flammable in this world that you can even push them into a stove and they'll light up like a bonfire. It's great. And Dark Messiah makes the most out of it. Hardly a single encounter will go by without you getting a few chances to turn your foot into a merciless killing machine. Early on, it constantly reminds you to put this incredible kicking skill to good use. Dishonored and Prey give you a wide array of powers to let you engineer your victories, but Dark Messiah's kick feels like the purest expression of Arkane's immersive sim design philosophy. Here's this simple, accessible and intuitive ability that you can use in all sorts of situations on both enemies and the environment. You can kick down flimsy walls to open up a new path, for instance, or knock down some supports on a platform, causing barrels and other heavy objects to crush some gormless guards below. Foot-based shenanigans isn't all Dark Messiah offers, however. If you see any ropes and levers around when you're about to start a fight, you're in luck, because it probably means you'll be able to turn the environment into an ally. Cutting a rope could lead to a chandelier falling from the ceiling and onto an unfortunate enemy. Hitting a lever, meanwhile, could open up some cells and provide just the distraction you need for some murder. Sometimes they're heavily signposted, where you're being guided towards these cool moments, but that doesn't undermine their novelty, and you can still keep up the illusion that you're being very creative.
You made it! Great!
It's interesting as a piece of Arkane's history, and you can see a lot of Dishonored and its other games in its combat and AI behaviour, but it's also just a hell of a lot of fun to play, even now. Like a lot of Source Engine games, it's aged pretty well, and there still isn't really anything else like it. Beyond Arkane's games, there are shades of the Elder Scrolls, Thief, and of course the turn-based Might and Magic series, but they all create this very distinct combination. There's also something to be said for its brevity. It's less than half the length of Dishonored, split into hour-long chapters, 10 of them, which are largely linear. It's an Arkane game that you can finish in a couple of afternoons. Dishonored is exactly as long as it needs to be, but being able to enjoy Arkane's top-notch level design and excellent melee combat in something a bit lighter and more straightforward is a very welcome treat. I jumped in just to grab some footage earlier, and before I knew it, I was already at the halfway point. And not just because it's brief. The whirlwind pace pushes you along even while the story stumbles, taking you from ancient crypts to cities under siege to ocean voyages in the blink of an eye. And each mission is just the right length so you can justify just one more. So there are plenty of reasons to dig this one out, but above all else, do it for the excellent kicking.